tutorial for somebody that was having a little trouble doing the dual extrusion. So essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to download this thing. It's already been downloaded to here. I'm going to do this on a MakerBot 2X. And here are the two files. And both of them are object files, but you should be able to import them into MakerWare just fine. Jump back here, I'm going to select both files, drag them into the space, give it a second because they are pretty big meshes. Once it sets these up, then we can click on one and then use the object and select them down here. So the out starts off at a pretty big size. Most of the time I tend to size it down a little bit. But what we can do right away, while it's still big and easy to click on, you can click on one of the two meshes, select object, there we go, and then I can select one of the other extruders for it. Now keep in mind this only works if your device is either a 2X or one of the duals. So once I've got both of them selected, now you can see I've got one part is going to be the left extruder and the other part is going to be the right extruder based on which part of the... Very slow while doing the screen recording. And what I want to do now is I'm going to downsize this. I think most of the time when I was doing the scaling, I was doing it at a much smaller scale. So I'm going to go down just about 50%. I think anything too much smaller than that, you're probably going to have a real tough time. The rest of the settings are pretty straightforward. You want to make sure you pick your appropriate materials. In the case of all the ones I've done ABS on both. I've done standard quality, usually around 5 or 10%. Typically I do 1 to 2 shells, and then layer height is generally the 0.2. Temperature for these, since it's going to be ABS, definitely needs to be 110 or around there, and 230 on those. If you find it having a little bit of a problem and getting a little messy, sometimes you can slow it down and the shields aren't quite as much. You don't need any supports for this particular model, and you don't need a raft. I'm going to go ahead and save the settings and then go ahead and do an export of the file, which will probably take a while. I hope all that made sense, and good luck with your dual print owl.